Hello everybody, Happy New Year! I'm the Basement Reviewer, and I'm back in my old recording area, as you probably noticed. With everything that's been going on, I am so glad to be out of Rexburg. Idaho was just so boring. But here back in Omaha, things are largely the same, but different. But in this area, I just realized something. Well, my old reviews are not that great, and quite frankly, some of them I really should redo. So, I'm gonna have myself a little bit of a marathon here. For the next 4 reviews, I will be either taking a look at a show I've done before, or reviewing the exact same episode, like I am doing today. Gas or Fail was my first ever review, and while I'm glad I did it, it's not very good. It was back when I didn't script things, and it really showed. And despite being my most popular and most viewed, it's probably my worst, albeit one that had a technical issue that made it worse objectively. Either way, it was very lackluster, and today I've decided to take a look into it again. I've talked about this show twice before already, and I know you're probably sick of it, and I do intend on talking about its animated spin-off at one point. But, you know, what can I say? For some reason, despite really hating the show, I just really enjoy talking about it. Which is honestly why I keep bringing it up. The show itself is one of the laziest sitcoms I have ever seen. Even its concept has been done before. Heck, Nickelodeon has a sitcom with a similar concept with the Thundermans. But hey, just because it's done before does not necessarily mean it'll be bad. I mean, Wreck-It Ralph 2 has a similar concept to the Emoji Movie, but that's considerably better than that film. But this would all be okay if Henry Danger managed to be funny, which it really is not. Like I said, the biggest issue Henry Danger has is that it's lazy. It takes the easiest opportunity jokes there are. And in some ways, that can be worse than just being bad. It's so overly done and so upfront about it. It doesn't really change the formula at all. It just does it point for point. But apparently, it was good enough to win an award.
Favorite kids TV show is Henry Danger!
The episode begins with a test to make sure that Captain Man is still invincible, and yes, that's actually his name. I mean, what's next? Leader guy. He leads. Either way, the entire intro is pointless, aside from establishing that Henry has a standardized test. It also adds a running joke about wontons, and how Henry wants them. And by the way, it isn't funny the first, second, third, or 50th time, but they still keep repeating it. It also adds the running joke of Schwartz mispronouncing things, and it really brings to attention how much this show does not understand how you're using a running joke. A running joke is supposed to change things up every time to make sure it doesn't get stale. For example, Phineas and Ferb has a lot of running jokes, like Where's Perry, I wonder what you're gonna do today. And every time, they change it up, at least a little, to make sure it doesn't get stale. In comparison, Henry Danger always uses these jokes the exact same way. It'd be as if someone were hitting with a hammer, and they just wouldn't stop, but they kept saying, oh, it's just a joke, you didn't get it the first time, surely if you get it the 50th time, the hammer will not hurt, but instead be funny. Either way, the first 4 minutes are entirely useless to the plot. They're just filler, which this show does have a lot of, admittedly, but it's still annoying. All it does is say why Henry cannot go to work, because he has a standardized test, so he has to go to school. Also, by the way, calling cameras useless, barrel of laughs. Funniest thing I've seen all year.
And Abraham Zapruder. Here. Oh, Abraham, put that obsolete camera away.
We also get introduced to the worst character in the episode, largely due to Piper not being here. This teacher is a special kind of awful. She's super selfish, and that's her character. Aside from being gross, she also winks from her mouth because random XD, I guess. I really don't know.
What are you doing with your mouth?
Winking. I have weak eyelid muscles, so I'm a mouth winker.
She also tells them to cheat because the better they do, the more she gets paid. Either way, an alarm goes off, and this is alerting them that a deadly gas is filling the atmosphere, and it will kill them, so there's an evacuation going on. But guess what? The teacher still won't let them leave. There's an evacuation. Okay, this deadly gas is filling the atmosphere. You will die, and if you die, you don't get that money paycheck. You be dead. You don't get anything. What gain do you possibly have out of keeping the students here? They will let them retake this test. That's probably how this standardized tests work. If there was a situation in which an evacuation need to happen during a standardized test, they would get to finish that test, just not on that day. Either way, we are nearly 8 minutes into this episode, and the plot is finally decided to make its way here. It took them long enough. The pacing of this episode in general is just abysmal, and I would not mind as much if it didn't feel like it was slowly dragging me against hot coals. This pacing is so slow in the beginning, and then it doesn't even have the writing to make it through the second half. The second half is really quick. It's like, oh, well, we thought of this plot, but we didn't actually want to do this plot. This plot could honestly fill 11 minutes, but for whatever reason, it needs to be 22 minutes, like pretty much every other show. And I don't get why, really. It makes no sense to me. 11 minutes would be easier to make. Also, dragging Josh was a thing.
Calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
Yeah, so?
Captain Man ends up getting stuck underground near the gas leak, so Schwoz needs to get Henry out of school. And we get more of those wonderful running jokes.
Oh, and tell them to bring some of them wontons.
Bring some wontons.
Wontons!
More mouth winking, and Henry has to go meet Schwoz in the bathroom. You see, Captain Man can't get out, so Henry Danger has to go save him. But he can't leave school. So...
Action.
From here, the pacing improves. The comedy doesn't, but the pacing does. Henry Danger does end up saving Captain Man, who, in return, prevents Henry's hologram from being discovered.
Do you consent to this kiss?
Sure! You want it in writing?
At least he asks for consent first. I'm looking at you, Fred. So, that was Gas or Fail. It's not the worst thing ever, but it is exceptionally padded, and has little to no comedy. There is much worse you could possibly do, but at least it has some decent set pieces and costumes. Most of the acting is alright, and it's not the worst plot you could have chosen. However, the teacher is way over the top of my liking, and none of the acting is exceptional, or even surpasses okay. It's just fell apart as both terms of plot and comedy. It's not funny, and the plot is very lackluster. It's the kind of plot you write for a comedy show, but they forgot to add the comedy to it. Looking back, Henry Danger is a very mediocre show, and this is probably one of the worst episodes of it. And one of its biggest problems that I didn't even get to mention was the laugh track, but I'll get more into that in my side note on this video. With that said, this was something that I feel did better the second time around than the first time, and I hope I keep that up with this little marathon. Until next time, Have a nice day.